Part 46. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 451. Under Yang Tian's crazy attack, Xianyu and Long and others soon fell, and countless spoils of war fell below. Swift wind stab. Yang Tian's offensive continued, riding on an undead warhorse and rushing towards the Lich King. The long spear in his hand spun rapidly, twisting the air and causing terrible airflows, and then stabbed the Lich King fiercely. 213-404-0302. As a wave of damage emerged, the Lich King snorted coldly. Unfortunately, this damage was not as high as expected. The Lich King is a divine beast, and its defense, protection, and even resistance are extremely high. In addition, it is the king of the dark system, and its dark resistance is very high, which greatly weakened Yang Tian's damage. As a result, Yang Tian's swift wind stab, with a combat power of at least hundreds of billions, hit the Lich King, but only caused 2 billion damage, which was weakened by more than 100 times. Of course, Yang Tian had anticipated the situation in advance, and he was not surprised at the moment, and continued to attack fiercely. Undead transformation, Nether Assassin. Throat slitting. Stunning. Stabbing. Heart piercing. Undead transformation, Skeleton Mage. Corrosion Black Hole. Explosive Pyrotechnics. Cursed Arrows. Dark Whirlwind. Undead transformation, Skeleton Archer. Rain of Arrows. Armor Piercing Arrows. Multiple Arrows. Meteor Arrows. In a few seconds, Yang Tian continuously switched to various undead forms, and the cumulative damage caused to the Lich King reached more than 20 billion. However, the Lich King's HP was as high as 2 trillion, and after suffering 20 billion damage, its health bar only dropped by 1%, which was not painful. On the contrary, the sacred beast man-eating grass beside it and the undead army below were all killed instantly. Yang Tian had been focusing on the Lich King, and did not attack them deliberately, but they could not bear the aftermath of the battle. Human, you are the strongest necromancer I have ever seen in my life. While Yang Tian was focusing his fire crazily, the Lich King also counterattacked at the same time, and in a few moves, Yang Tian's shield lost 1 trillion strength. Unfortunately, the Lich King is a necromancer. Like all necromancers, although he can summon an army of undead, his output skills are too few. The Lich King used up his output skills in a few moves and fell into a long CD gap. Yang Tian is different. Seriously speaking, he is not a necromancer, but a lord of the undead. If there is no undead transformation, his output skills are also very few. It's a pity that your realm is too low, and a mere Saint King dares to challenge me. If I don't kill you today, you don't know how high the sky is and how thick the earth is, the Lich King roared, ignited 10 soul fires above the sky, and then a series of black summoning arrays appeared one after another. The Lich has the blood talent of dark affinity, and the chanting time of all dark attribute skills is greatly shortened. The Lich King is even more terrifying. From beginning to end, Yang Tian has never seen it chant for half a second, all of them are instantaneous. Because of the existence of extreme summoning, Yang Tian only needs to chant for 1.5 seconds to summon 10 teams of undead at a time. Of course, Yang Tian wears a blood-sucking staff, and it takes 3 seconds to chant the extreme summoning. However, when he chants the extreme summoning, he will first change the magic beads, and the chanting time will be halved directly to 1.5 seconds. However, the Lich King did not see any chanting, and in an instant he cast 10 huge black summoning arrays, and then the dark undead emerged, bringing a sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling to the dark sky. A legion of skeleton warriors, skeleton mages, and skeleton archers at the level of Spirit King, a legion of zombies, a legion of werewolves and zombies, a legion of mummies, a legion of headless knights, each legion has 1,000 undeads. A legion of werewolves and zombies at the level of fairy kings, with 500 undeads. A legion of Black Knights and a legion of Nether Assassins at the level of Holy Kings, with 100 undeads each. Yang Tian also has these undeads under the Lich King, but the undeads of the Lich King are more than one level higher than his undeads. Yang Tian is currently a Holy King, and all the Black Knights he summons are in the sub-fairy realm. The Lich King is a divine beast, and the Black Knights he summons are not sub-sages, but directly Holy Kings. My stupid servants, go and let him feel the fear of being dominated by darkness. The Lich King opened his hands, embraced the world, and laughed arrogantly above all things. Immediately, 8 armies of the undead attacked Yang Tian from all directions. The domineering aura that was determined to destroy everything only made Yang Tian's scalp numb. Under the blessing of the Lich King's attributes, each undead in the undead army had a combat power far beyond his own realm. Damn it, let's go. I have blood sucking, what am I afraid of? Yang Tian roared, and transformed into a huge bone dragon, and this bone dragon had a layer of shield with a life strength of 6 trillion. Of course, if it was only a 6 trillion shield strength, it would not be able to stop the attack of this terrifying undead army. It must suck blood to form a stronger shield. Yang Tian took the lead, and the huge dragon mouth opened and closed, swallowing and spitting out a blue flame, blasting towards the skeleton mage group at 10 o'clock. Boom! The dark blue flames whistled past, and the 1,000 skeleton mages were all charred black, and then fell apart and shattered. With one move, Yang Tian killed 1,000 spirit kings in 1 second. At the same time, 1,000 blood balls popped out and quickly rushed to the bone dragon that Yang Tian transformed into. A strange red light flashed, and the shield refreshed its strength minus 20 trillion plus. Damn human, the vitality is obviously very weak, but the scarlet shield is extremely strong. The Lich King snorted coldly, and murderous intent surged in his terrifying eyes. Yang Tian killed 1,000 Spirit King skeleton mages in one move, refreshing the shield strength. The next moment, another 7 undead armies gathered around and focused their fire on the huge bone dragon body, causing a loud explosion that made the earth tremble. Within a second, Yang Tian was hit by a series of terrifying blows. Although he himself did not lose blood, the scarlet shield on his body quickly dimmed. At this moment, Yang Tian naturally continued to pay attention to the strength of the shield. At this time, he was shocked to find that the shield, which originally had a life strength of 20 trillion, now only had a life strength of more than 1 trillion. This is too terrible. If he is distracted for a moment, he will definitely fall. Black Flame Bomb. Yang Tianlong opened and closed his dragon mouth again, spitting out a huge black flame, which suddenly hit a group of skeleton warriors, zombies, headless knights, and other melee undead in front of him. This time, because many melee undead had gathered in front of him, although the attack range of the black flame bomb was not as good as the blue flame, it hit more undead. All of them were shattered, turning into countless broken bones, and the rotten corpses fell down. One move killed thousands of undead at the level of Spirit King. Countless blood balls rushed in, once again refreshing Yang Tian's almost blasted shield. This time, the life strength of the shield generated by blood sucking reached a terrifying 50 trillion. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 452. Twice in a row, Yang Tian deliberately avoided the Black Knight team and the Nether Assassin team. There are 2 reasons. First, with Yang Tian's current combat power, except for the ultimate skills such as self-destruct spider, corpse explosion, and damage deepening, he cannot kill the Holy King in one move, let alone a Holy King team. Self-destruct spider and corpse explosion both require summoning undead. Facing the Lich King, Yang Tian can't summon undead at all. Damage deepening is powerful, but it requires the previous burst damage, and damage deepening is single damage, which can only target one target. Second, the Black Knight and Nether Assassin team have a limited number of undead, only 100 each, and the total damage that Yang Tian can cause is not high enough, and the blood-sucking strength is not enough. The amount of blood sucked by the blood-sucking staff is 10% of the total damage you cause in 1 second. Not only does it require combat power, but the attack range is also a very important point. The more targets you attack, theoretically speaking, the more blood you will suck. If Yang Tian's Black Flame Bomb had hit the Black Knight and Nether Assassin team, the shield formed by blood-sucking would not have a life strength of 50 trillion, at most only 1 or 2 trillion. Damn human, the Lich King was furious. Of the 10 undead teams, Yang Tian destroyed 4 in the blink of an eye. What's more disgusting is that his shield is getting stronger and stronger. 50 trillion lives, this is a very scary concept. Even as strong as the Lich King, he only has 2 trillion lives, which can be seen from here. The Lich King knew in his heart that if he let the undead army continue to fight, it would not pose a substantial threat to Yang Tian. And jumping clown. Die for me, the Lich King roared and clenched his pale palm into a fist. In an instant, the entire undead army rushed towards Yang Tian frantically, regardless of everything. All the undead turned red and emitted white smoke, as if there was a surge of energy about to explode. Corpse explosion. Boom boom boom. The horrible explosion made the surrounding space tremble, and then a huge black mushroom cloud emerged. People who don't know might think that someone here was hit by a missile. Originally, there were about 5,000 undead under the Lich King, and the weakest of them were all at the level of Spirit King. Among them, there were 500 Immortal Kings and 200 Saint Kings. The power of the corpse explosion is definitely more than 5,000 times. On this basis, it will at least double or triple. This corpse explosion is enough to destroy everything. Even if 100 beasts fight here, they will probably be blown to ashes. However, when the smoke and dust cleared, the bone dragon still stood proudly in the air, and the scarlet shield on its body looked extremely weird in this dark environment. What about the beast? The life is at most 2 or 3 trillion, and Yang Tian's scarlet shield has a life strength of 50 trillion, which is not comparable at all. After withstanding the corpse explosion, the strength of Yang Tian's shield is still 9 trillion. No, impossible. The strength of your shield has surpassed the power of God. The Lich King was stunned, and he couldn't believe that a mere Saint King could form such a strong shield. Are you scared? Yang Tian opened his dragon mouth, his voice was thick and vicissitudes, and there was a sense of playfulness. With the realm of Saint King, he forced a divine beast, or the Lich King who restrained him very much, to this extent. Yang Tian felt indescribable pleasure in his heart. Insolent. No matter what, with your Saint King's combat power, you can't hurt me at all. What's more, do you think this is all my strength? Being provoked by Yang Tian, the Lich King felt that his dignity was insulted. He roared and waved his hand again to ignite a soul fire in the sky. Immediately, an extremely huge black summoning array emerged. Roar roar roar. As the ancient dragon roars sounded, 5 white bone dragons flew out of the summoning array. The whole body of the bone dragon was white, which was very eye-catching in the dark environment. However, each bone dragon was covered with purple mysterious lines, producing thousands of feet of rosy clouds, and the divine power was so awe-inspiring that it made the world tremble. It turned out to be 5 divine bone dragons. The Lich King was just a divine beast, but it could summon 5 divine bone dragons, and under its attribute blessing, in terms of combat power, these 5 divine bone dragons far exceeded ordinary divine beasts, which was really outrageous. It can only be said that the Lich King is worthy of being the Lich King. Even in the field of divine beasts, it is still at the top of the pyramid. Yang Tian is just a holy king, and if he can really defeat it when his attributes are restrained, it can only be said that Yang Tian's strength is also terrifying and outrageous. Hiss. In an instant, Yang Tian cancelled the undead transformation and restored his original appearance again. He took a breath of cold air, with an unbelievable look in his eyes. In his previous life, he had heard of the Lich King, but he had never seen it with his own eyes, let alone challenged it. To be honest, although he was a god-level assassin in his previous life, his strength was far inferior to that of the current Saint King. Now, what he saw, heard, encountered, and thought about no longer required the experience of his previous life, because the strength was no longer equal. Ha, and are you afraid now? But I can't let you go, the Lich King sneered, and the 5 bone dragons moved with them, opened their huge dragon mouths, and swept 5 huge blue flames towards Yang Tian in succession. The range was so large that Yang Tian could not dodge. Boom! Yang Tian's body was submerged in the blue flames, and the shield's strength lost 5 trillion in an instant, leaving only more than 4 trillion. Afraid? I'm fearless. Ang. In the dark blue flame, a long dragon roar sounded, and then a humanoid bone dragon holding a dagger broke through the flames and approached the Lich King at an unimaginable speed. Dragon transformation. All attributes doubled, including speed. Throat slashing. 3503-002-0199. In the extremely shocked eyes of the Lich King, Yang Tian cut its neck with a knife, and black blood gushed out like a fountain. A wave of damage followed, which was as high as 35 billion, more than 10 times more than before the dragon transformation. Stun. Pierce the heart. Shadow attack. Backstab. 1509-802-0553. 3903-008-8009. 1804-393-9320. 9893-039-0202. Yang Tian used a crazy combo, followed by a shadow attack, and finished with a backstab, triggering the triple backstab damage of Loki Warrior. After a set of combos, the Lich King lost 200 billion HP, and his HP bar dropped by 1/10. Yang Tian was only a holy king, and his realm and attributes were doubly suppressed. In this case, such damage caused the Lich King to shudder. Quick! Repel him. A trace of fear finally appeared in the eyes of the Lich King. It couldn't see through the strength of Yang Tian's shield, and God knew how much more it was. In short, it didn't want its life to be threatened, especially by a mere holy king. Swoosh! The wind was howling, and 5 bone dragons came behind the Lich King like lightning, and their huge dragon mouths opened and closed, spraying huge black flame bombs with a diameter of more than 5 yards towards Yang Tian. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 453. Black flame bombs are different from blue flames. Black flame bombs have the ability to repel. The Lich King is essentially a mage. When someone gets close to him, he will feel an inexplicable fear in his heart. At this time, the Lich King did not know the strength of Yang Tian's shield, nor did he expect to kill Yang Tian in a short time. Anyway, there were 5 divine beasts, the bone dragon, and he had the capital to slowly consume it. The most urgent thing was to repel Yang Tian first. Taurus Tiangang. With the roar of a barbarian bull, a golden barbarian bull phantom appeared on Yang Tian's body. Hegemony state, 10 times damage reduction, and immunity to knockback, knockdown, and stiffness. Bang bang bang. 5 huge black flames hit Yang Tian with a bang, and the damage dropped sharply. Yang Tian turned into a dragon, and all attributes doubled, of course including defense, protection, and resistance. In addition to the 10 times damage reduction of the hegemony, the damage of the bone dragon was reduced by an unknown number of times. Black smoke rose, and Yang Tian swept the shield strength, which was still more than 4 trillion, and did not drop much at all. More importantly, Yang Tian was not repelled. Hiss! The Lich King took a breath of cold air, looking at the violent figure of Yang Tian in front of him. His heart was cold, as if he was drenched from head to toe by a bucket of cold water in winter. In panic, the Lich King immediately put on a glazed bone shield, the strength of which was 200 billion. The same full-level bone shield, the strength of the Lich King's bone shield was not as high as Yang Tian's, because although the Lich King is a divine beast, its basic combat power is not as high as Yang Tian, which is terrifying. However, the Lich King's divine body is powerful, and its defense and protection, and even resistance are extremely high, so the effect of putting a bone shield on it will be better. Yang Tian continuously switched to the Undead transformation, and continued to attack wildly. It took 10 consecutive moves to barely blow up the Lich King's bone shield. At the same time, the 5 Divine Beast bone shields also frantically focused on Yang Tian, but the damage was extremely low, and the strength of Yang Tian's shield remained almost unchanged. At this time, the Lich King completely understood that he was no longer Yang Tian's opponent. In order to survive, it put down its dignity and turned around to run away. A dignified divine beast, it was reduced to being beaten by the Holy King and forced to flee. What's more embarrassing is that it wanted to escape, but it couldn't escape. The Lich King is a divine beast. Theoretically, its speed is much faster than Yang Tian. However, the undercurrent under Yang Tian's feet spread out, spreading for 100 yards, forming a dark lake. The powerful dark gravity caused the Lich King's speed to drop by 30%. And Yang Tian turned into a dragon, and his speed doubled. The speeds of the two are incomparable. At this time, Yang Tian's speed is much faster than that of the Lich King. Undead transformation, skeleton archer. Armor-piercing arrows. Multiple arrows. Meteor arrows. Rain of arrows. Yang Tian turned into a dragon, with a scarlet shield and Taurus Tiangang on his side. He took the concentrated fire damage of the 5 bone dragons, deliberately slowed down his speed, kept moving at the same speed as the Lich King, drew his bow and shot arrows one by one at the back of the Lich King, triggering a triple back attack, and each arrow was extremely damaging. The blood bar on the Lich King's head dropped down at a speed visible to the naked eye. When the rain of arrows triggered a rain of arrows, the Lich King's blood bar was less than half. No. Human. There is no substantial conflict of interest between you and me. You have no reason to kill me. The Lich King turned around suddenly, screamed miserably, and looked at Yang Tian with pleading eyes. What do you want? Do you want to learn skills? No problem, I can teach you all. I want your life. Yang Tian grinned with a cold smile and snapped his fingers casually. The damage deepened. The rain of arrows smashed down, and the Lich King's body had been pierced with thousands of holes, and blood gushed out. At this time, all the injuries on his body were broken open, and with a bang, he exploded and died, exploding a large amount of equipment, coins, materials, and body fragments, and black blood fell to the ground. The rain of arrows dealt 300 billion damage to the Lich King, and the full level damage deepened, which was 10 times the fixed damage. The opponent had no defense and protection resistance, and dealt more than 3 trillion damage, which overflowed and killed the Lich King with residual blood instantly. System, congratulations on completing the first kill of the mythical beast Lich King, and you will get an additional 2 billion experience points and 10 skill points. Then a broadcast announcement will be launched in the fantasy world copy to publicize your glorious deeds. Do you want to hide your ID? As the system prompt sounded in his ears, Yang Tian's experience exploded, and the white light rose. Yang Tian actually directly upgraded to level 181. Anonymous. Yang Tian thought about it for a while and chose to be anonymous. In the national server, he can do whatever he wants. But Fantasy World is a world copy, and you should be low-key when you should be low-key. There are many overseas war zones and countless strong people. Yang Tian does not want to expose his brilliance too early. As the saying goes, the first bird to come out will be shot. If you are too arrogant, you will be easily targeted. Fantasy World broadcast, Congratulations to the player Anonymous for completing the first kill challenge of the mythical beast Lich King, and the additional reward is 2 billion experience points and 10 skill points. In the fantasy world, the broadcast was broadcast 3 times in a row, which shocked everyone in this copy. First kill of the mythical beast? This is too scary, right? Which war zone is this strong man? This is even more powerful than Brother Shui, Could it be Brother Shui himself? Nan Bassian, Niu Meng, GBA and others were still brushing the skeleton general outside the gloomy cemetery. When the broadcast sounded, they were suddenly shocked. Nan Bassian guessed at the same time. The Lich King is a dark beast. It is very likely that it is deep in this gloomy cemetery. Brother Shui seems to have gone there. Could it be that Brother Shui really killed the beast? Niu Meng was terrified when he thought about it, and his face was trembling. It is very likely. You have just seen Brother Shui's strength. He is almost invincible in the Saint King realm. Even the strong ones like the Bone Dragon Saint, Qianben Shuiying, and others are far from being Brother Shui's opponents. Nan Bassian was fascinated and hot all over. He was simply prostrating himself in admiration for Yang Tian. Niu Meng, GBA, and others were trembling all over and were also very excited. If it was Brother Shui who first killed the beast, then Brother Shui's strength was simply unimaginable. In the future, he would represent the Chinese war zone and would probably become famous in the world. At present, the masters in each zone are all above level 180. There is no doubt that now is the version of the World War. We are all Chinese, so of course we hope that Chinese masters will become famous in the world and win glory for the country. Yang Tian killed the beast for the first time, and the world was shocked. But apart from Nan Bassian and others who had some speculation, the forces of various countries did not know who did it. In a short period of time, the official forum had exploded, and people from various countries posted hot posts, making this matter a hot topic. Various water armies, fans all believed that it was their idols who did it, and they argued endlessly, which once made the official website a mess. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 454. The first one to kill the beast must be our Korean server's Rong Zhuang. Rong Zhuang is the first person in the gaming field in Korea and even the world. Foreign friends, please check it out. No, it must be our American server's Super or Caesar the Great. They are the leaders of our American server's Mecha Alliance and aesthetics of violence, and they are top-notch. If you don't agree, you can come to our American war zone to challenge them. Don't make a fuss. Our Japanese Hokage Kai, Reikage Shun, Miyamoto Takeshi, Big Brother Luo, which Nanamai, which one is not in the top 10 of the world rankings? When will it be your turn to kill the beast first? Rong Zhuang is the first in the world rankings. How can I say this? Level is shit? Do you really think that for a strong person of that level, a level difference of 1 or 2 levels will have any impact on the combat power? Shit, it was you Japanese who first brought up the level list. Stop arguing. If our Shui Ge hadn't quit the game, he would have arranged everything for you clearly. Koreans, if you don't accept us Japanese, you can just call that velvet suit over here. I guarantee he will be beaten like a dog. Go away. The first to kill the beast must not be you Japanese, otherwise you are so arrogant. Why do you still need to be anonymous? We are low-key. On the official forum, fans from all walks of life left messages crazily, fearing that others would not know how powerful their idols are. At this time, everyone no longer paid attention to who was the first to kill the beast, but took this opportunity to discuss who is the strongest person in the world. For a time, fans from all walks of life fought and fired at each other. Compared to fans from other regions, few players in China spoke, and the few messages they left were instantly drowned. The current position of the Chinese war zone is very awkward, and there is no strong person who can stand up. At the beginning, after the 3 people, Devil Right Hand, Mosu, and Siefeng, slaughtered the four-nation coalition army. They hit again. The three people are in the top 3 of the national server ranking list, but they are anonymous. Except for God Left Hand and Zeus's many masters, no one knows their identities. On the surface, God Left Hand is considered the top master in the Chinese war zone, but in the past 2 years, he was once beaten by Yang Tian, with no popularity and no face. Although Yang Tian is very face-saving in the national server, he quit the game at a critical moment. He disappeared for 3 months. Many players have forgotten him, but they don't know that Yang Tian has returned as a king. The outside world was in a commotion, but the person involved, Yang Tian, stayed out of it and began to clean up the spoils. This time he gained a lot. Not only did he kill the Lich King, but he also killed the Skeleton Saint King, the sacred beast man-eating grass, and other 5 sacred beasts. A large amount of spoils exploded. Among them, there are 3 items that sparkle with 1,000-foot-high rays of light, all of which are artifact quality. Blood of the Lich King, ray of light / consumable after use. The attributes are greatly improved, and the bloodline skills Affinity of Darkness and Domination of Darkness are obtained. Summoning Lich King Skill Book, Ray of Light / consumable learning requirements, level 200, God level Necromancer. Scepter of the Lich King, artifact. Level 200. Equipment type, staff. Basic physical attack add 90,000. Basic magic attack add 1 million. Physical strength add 10 million. Strength add 1 million. Intelligence add 1.2 million. Spirit add 1.2 million. Additional passive, Dark Attribute Skill Damage add 100%. Additional passive, Dark Attribute Skill, Chanting Time -50%. Additional passive, Dark Attribute Skill, Cooling Time -50%. Additional skill, Wrath of the Lich King, active summon a Lich King to assist in combat. The Lich King can exist for a maximum of 5 minutes, and the skill CD is 30 minutes. Additional skills, Lich King's Bane, passive. Every time you kill a target, you can summon a soul puppet of the same strength. After the soul puppet appears, it will exist for up to 30 seconds. Yang Tian was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that he would have such a huge harvest this time. He even got a divine weapon. After all, a divine weapon is a divine weapon. The Lich King's scepter is much more terrifying than the add 100 blood-sucking staff. If the Lich King's scepter is also strengthened to 100, it will be even more incredible. However, because of the low level, Yang Tian could not wear the Lich King's scepter, so he put it away. The skill book and bloodline were also put away. Yang Tian summoned Tang Snake, and after a while, he and it cleaned up all the spoils on the scene. Xian Yuan Longer's 3 souls and 5 spirits were gathered together and merged into a complete soul ball. The body and soul ball are already in hand, and the life spring is still missing. In order to revive Dr. Edith, Yang Tian went to the Miracle Lake and collected a large amount of tricolor life spring there. However, Xian Yuan Longer was a holy king in her lifetime, and the 3-color life spring water could not wake her up at all. She needed the 9-color life spring water. If I remember correctly, there is a dark blue pool in the fantasy world. The spring deep in the pool will produce a drop of 9-color life spring water every once in a while. Yang Tian touched his chin and pondered for a while, then rode Tang Snake out of the gloomy cemetery and headed towards the dark blue pool. In his previous life, Yang Tian had visited the fantasy world and was very familiar with all the maps in it. He quickly planned the route and headed towards the dark blue pool. Along the way, Yang Tian encountered many team exchanges of fire. Yang Tian ignored the players in other war zones, and when he saw the Chinese player team being besieged, he would crush the opponent, and then leave silently without saying a word, leaving only a majestic back to those Chinese players. Isn't that Brother Shui? It really is. After more than 3 months, the big guy finally returned. No, Brother Shui hasn't played for more than 3 months. How did he level up so fast? You know, to enter this fantasy world, you need to be at least level 180. Who knows, Brother Shui is Brother Shui after all, his ability is not what you and I can imagine. A group of Chinese Warzone players looked at Yang Tian's back riding Tang Snake away, and their hearts were excited. At this time, they certainly understood what Yang Tian's return meant, that represented the face of the Chinese Warzone. System, you found the dark blue pond and gained 550,000 experience points. After flying for several hours, Yang Tian finally arrived at the dark blue pond. This pool is very large, more than 1,000 yards in radius, surrounded by a larger valley, surrounded by bare rocks, few animals, and very quiet. The clear spring water reflects luster under the sunlight, and the environment is beautiful and makes people feel at ease. Yang Tian walked to the shore, squatted down, scooped up a mouthful of spring water with his hands and drank it, which was cool. This is just ordinary spring water, not life spring. Immediately, Yang Tian kicked his feet and jumped into the pool, stirring up thousands of waves. In the pool, Yang Tian breathed smoothly without any discomfort. Those above the Spirit King can fly into the sky and dive into the sea, so he can do it naturally. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 455. Yang Tian moved and dived into the depths of the pool. Not long after, he found the spring in the center of the bottom of the pool from afar. The pool was very calm, and at the spring, fresh spring water kept gushing out, forming water in the water. Yang Tian could tell it at a glance. If this dark blue pool has never been discovered, then there should be a lot of 9-color life springs in the spring. Yang Tian smiled slightly and descended towards the spring. At this moment, the spring water around the spring fluctuated, and then a slender and terrifying figure appeared. Dragon head, snake body, eagle claws, fish tail, all dark blue and transparent, cast by water element. Water dragon. Yang Tian recognized the other party's identity. This water dragon is a kind of elemental dragon, liquid, and can be completely integrated into the water. At this moment, it moved, and its physique and lines gradually became clear. Human ant, you are so bold that you dare to break into my territory. The lower body of the water dragon was circling, and the head and upper body were standing high. A pair of sapphire dragon eyes were staring down at Yang Tian, with a majestic dragon. A mere holy beast, are you worthy of being the king? Yang Tian just sneered. Looking for death. The water dragon roared, and its body rotated, creating a water tornado, crushing towards Yang Tian. Yang Tian put on a glazed bone shield and did not retreat a step. With a loud bang, the water tornado hit Yang Tian, causing violent fluctuations in the surrounding springs. Even above the pool, a thick and rotating water column rushed into the sky, and then decomposed into countless water droplets and splashed down, like a fairy scattering flowers. The sun shone down and a rainbow rose on the lake, which was magnificent. Underwater, Yang Tian took a hit without any damage, and the glass bone shield was not damaged at all. With a life strength of 400 billion, only 20 to 30 billion was lost. Undead transformation, Nether Assassin. Cut the throat. Yang Tian changed his body, jumped up suddenly, and a red light flashed, and he cut the neck of the water dragon with a knife. The water dragon is an elemental dragon, immune to physical attacks. However, as long as Yang Tian is in the form of undead transformation, all the damage caused by him is considered a magic attack. He cut the neck of the water dragon with a knife, generating a huge energy fluctuation, so that the water dragon's wound was difficult to recover in a short time. Yang Tian cut off 200 billion lives of the water dragon with a knife, causing the latter's blood bar to drop by half. It cried out, and a trace of fear appeared in its huge dragon eyes looking at Yang Tian. It finally understood that the human in front of it was not an ant, but a super strong man that it could not resist. With this thought, it suddenly turned around, and its slender and huge body caused the surrounding spring water to fluctuate violently. Immediately, it fled backwards. Want to escape? Yang Tian sneered, and the undercurrent under his feet surged, spreading 100 yards to form a dark lake. Under the pull of gravity, the speed of the water dragon dropped by 30%. Yang Tian easily caught up with it, stabbed the water dragon in the back with a knife, triple back attack, and dealt more than 500 billion damage. The damage overflowed and killed the water dragon instantly. With a bang, the body of the water dragon exploded, and countless equipment, coins, and materials burst out, lying quietly at the bottom of the pool, emitting various lusters. And Yang Tian smiled contemptuously. Now, for him, killing the holy beast is like killing ants, it is too easy. Yang Tian moved over and cleaned up the spoils that the water dragon had exploded, among which there was a ball of 9-color blood. Water dragon blood, 9 colors/consumables after use, the attributes are greatly improved, and the blood skills liquefaction and water dragon bullet are obtained. After collecting the water dragon blood and cleaning up the other spoils, Yang Tian moved to the spring and reached down to scoop it out. The spring continued to gush out cold spring water. Yang Tian reached down to scoop it out, and there was quite a bit of resistance, but it didn't have much of an impact. After a while, Yang Tian took out a handful of 5 drops of 9-color life spring water. This 9-color life spring water is very magical. It is obviously liquid in nature, but it exists in a solid form. Each drop is half the size of a thumb, crystal clear, and flashing with a faint blue luster. Yang Tian held the 5 drops of 9-color life spring water in his hand and felt a strong energy fluctuation. There should be more. Yang Tian smiled slightly, put away the 5 drops of 9-color life spring water in his hand, and continued to dig down. After a while, Yang Tian obtained a total of 10 drops of 9-color life spring water, smiled with satisfaction, and then exited the fantasy world copy. The ultimate purpose of Yang Tian's going to the fantasy world was to revive Xian Yuan Long-er. Unexpectedly, he also killed the Lich King and got a lot of unexpected gains. A flash of white light, Yang Tian appeared again on the ancient desert, and right in front of him was the copy mirror of the fantasy world. With a wave of his hand, he summoned a crystal coffin, and the sun shone down, and Xian Yuan Long-er could be seen lying quietly inside. Yang Tian squatted down and opened the lid of the crystal coffin, pinched Xian Yuan Long-er's delicate little face with one hand, and made her little mouth pout upwards. Yang Tian then took out her soul ball and put it into her mouth to help her swallow it. Then, Yang Tian took out another drop of the 9-colored life spring, shattered it with holy power, and turned it into countless tiny raindrops, which were evenly sprinkled on Xian Yuan Long-er's body. After doing all this, Yang Tian stood up and stepped back 5 steps, waiting quietly. After a while, in the ice coffin, Xian Yuan Long-er's beautiful eyebrows began to tremble, and then she slowly opened her eyes. It was as if she had never died, but just woke up from a deep sleep. Seeing Long-er reborn, Yang Tian was relieved, but at this time, he keenly discovered that Long-er's appearance and temperament had changed a lot. First, the pair of cute little dragon horns on Long-er's forehead disappeared. Secondly, her life force was slightly weaker than before, and her previous heroic spirit faded a lot, adding a kind of tenderness that a normal girl should have. She lost the blood of the dragon. However, she reached the realm of Saint King before her death, and her soul remained at the level of Saint King. Now that she is resurrected, she is still Saint King, and holy light automatically forms in her body. Despite this, the gap between the blood of the dragon and the holy light is also the difference between heaven and earth. For the former, she will naturally become a god at level 200. For the latter, Saint King is the end point. Unless she refines the blood of the god level or the godhood again, she can become a god in the future. While Yang Tian was thinking, he suddenly felt a fragrant breeze blowing, and then he felt a soft body falling into his arms. Yang Tian, thank you for saving me. Long-er's choked voice sounded. In the past, she was also called Han Shui or Shui Ji. Being called that by someone very close to her, Yang Tian felt very uncomfortable, so he told her her real name. "Don't say that. It's my fault for not protecting you," Yang Tian sighed, feeling guilty. Long Er shook her head, then let go of Yang Tian, stood on tiptoes, and kissed Yang Tian on the lips. In an instant, Yang Tian's body stiffened, and his scalp went numb. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 456. Lips parted, Xianyu and Longer said shyly, "I will forgive you this time, but next time, you must protect me well." "Oh." Yang Tian nodded. "Also, you have to help me restore my country." "Well, you are the Empress, and I am a soldier. You are responsible for pampering yourself, and I am responsible for helping you conquer the country." Yang Tian teased, intending to divert the previous embarrassment. Taki chuckled, feeling much more relaxed, and her face was not as red as before. After a moment, she asked again, "Where's Alice?" "It's hard to find her soul, but it doesn't matter. As long as you find one of the souls, it will be very simple to resurrect her," Yang Tian said slowly. Immediately, Yang Tian took out the blood of the Lich King and the blood of the water dragon and said, "Long you have lost the blood of the dragon. You can choose the same two to help you improve your strength." Yang Tian originally thought that Long would choose the water dragon bloodline, but who knew that she didn't choose either and just shook her head. Yang Tian understood her thoughts instantly. If possible, he really wanted to take out the dragon bloodline in his body and give it to her, but that was impossible. Original dragon bloodline, if there is a chance, I will find a copy of the original dragon bloodline, and then add a godhead. Then you will regain the divine dragon bloodline, Yang Tian comforted. Taki nodded slightly, tears flashing in her beautiful eyes. At this moment, Yang Tian received a voice message from Xiao Fei, "Brother Shui, when you were away, our Water League was jointly suppressed by Zeus and the four countries' coalition forces, and all members of the Water League were permanently wanted by the four countries. In the end, Brother Huang Mao sacrificed himself and went to jail alone to ask the four countries to cancel our wanted order. Brother Huang Mao has not been online during this period and has been waiting for you to come back. Now that you are back, it is almost time to go to the prison to rescue him." "Where are the others?" Yang Tian asked. "It's online. I just informed him that it's online," Xiao Fei said. "Okay, I'll go right away." After Yang Tian finished speaking, he hung up the phone and immediately called up the system interface to find the Sin City option. Yang Tian happened to have a red name, so he could enter directly, so he took back Longer and clicked to enter. "System, you discovered Sin City, 19, and gained 500,000 experience points." With a flash of white light, Yang Tian arrived at the penultimate floor of Sin City, fighting on the dilapidated streets. After scanning forward and backward, he found that countless skeleton demon generals were besieging him. The skeleton demon generals all have black skeletons, are nearly 3 meters tall, hold black swords, and wear black armor. The two groups at the front and back attacked at the same time, showing an overwhelming momentum. Skeleton Demon General, Lord Monster. Level 182. HP, 80 million. Basic Combat Strength, 30 million. Skills, Heavy Attack, Continuous Slash, Sweep, Battle Cry, Collision. The Lord Monster is comparable to the King Beast of the same level, but it is still too weak compared to Yang Tian. Undead Transformation, Black Knight. Total Annihilation. Yang Tian raised his gun and swept forward, firing out a 100-meter wide black light blade, whizzing past, cutting hundreds of skeleton demon generals in front of them in half, smashing them to the ground, and exploding large trophies at the same time. Roar, a violent roar sounded, and a group of skeleton demon generals rushed over behind them. Yang Tian immediately turned around and danced his spear wildly, forming a huge black whirlwind around him. Whirlwind. Bang, bang, bang! The skeleton demon generals rushed forward and crashed into the whirlwind crazily, and were crushed to pieces. After finishing the whirlwind dance, most of the group of skeleton demon generals were strangled. He immediately raised his gun and put it away. With a flash of white light, his size increased tenfold. He rode an undead warhorse and rushed into the group of monsters with a gun, swinging his gun to kill them. After a while, Yang Tian was the only one left on the street, with countless black bones at his feet and trophies all over the ground. Yang Tian immediately cancelled the undead transformation, restored his original appearance, squatted down, and found a skill book among the large amount of loot. Summon Skeleton Demon General, Gold Quality / Consumable level 180, Necromancer can learn it. Yang Tian clapped his hands and started learning directly. The Skeleton Demon General is at the same level as the Vampire Count and the Three-Headed Dog of Hell. He is slightly stronger than the Black Knight and the Netherworld Assassin, but he is still a lord in terms of realm. Yang Tian is currently the Holy King, and the Skeleton Demon General he summons is at the sub-immortal level. The Black Knight and Nether Assassin summoned by Yang Tian are also Yoxian. The realm has been raised to the same level, and there is no difference in combat power. The Black Knight, the Netherworld Assassin, the Vampire Count, the Three-Headed Dog of Hell, and the Skeleton Demon General are all powerful undead. For Necromancers, the only undead stronger than them are the Lich King and the Bone Dragon. Yang Tianruo summoned only one Skeleton Demon General. After all, it was a new skill he had just learned, and his skill level was only LV1. Each time the skill increases by one level, the number of summons increases by 1. After the skill is fully leveled, the maximum number of summons is the same as the Black Knight and others, which is 100. Of course, Yang Tian did not use skill points to increase the level of this skill. To be honest, his current combat power is already strong enough. The addition of the Skeleton Demon General as a team of undead under his command will hardly improve his combat power. Yang Tian naturally couldn't waste precious skill points on it. Summoning the Soaring Snake to clean up the loot, Yang Tian rode the Soaring Snake into the air, aimed at the prison, and galloped away. Not long after, Yang Tian Tang Snake came to the door of the prison. Sin City and the Great Prison are connected. There are as many levels as there are in the Great Prison in Sin City. Yang Tian is currently in the second to last floor of the City of Sin. When he enters the prison, he is naturally in the second to last floor of the prison. As a Saint King, Huang Mao's combat power cannot be measured simply by level. He must be imprisoned in the last floor of the prison. At the entrance of the prison on this floor, there is a prison commander of the Spirit King level on both sides. When they found that Yang Tian Tang Snake had arrived, they did not dare to scold him and hurriedly fled into the prison. Yang Tian Tang Snake was fighting outside and could even hear their panicked warning sounds in the prison. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 457. The Saint King personally robbed the prison. This kind of thing is not a joke. They are just Spirit Kings, how can they possibly defend it? They must ask the warden or the deputy warden to personally take action. In the Chinese theater, apart from the four empires, the Great Prison is the largest NPC force. It does not belong to any of the four empires. It directly belongs to the Chinese theater and is responsible for managing all criminals in the Chinese theater. Not only the four empires, even if a new empire is established in the Chinese theater in the future, it will also be under its jurisdiction to detain criminals. As a powerful force today, the warden of the Great Prison must be a god level without a doubt, and even the deputy warden may be a god level. Otherwise, how can they have the confidence to detain those super powerful criminals? Of course, although the Great Prison is so powerful, it has no conflict of interest with the major empires. This is a delicate balance and a virtuous cycle. Therefore, it is naturally impossible for the Emperor Xinyu and others to target the great prison. After taking back Tangxi, Yang Tian stepped into the second to last floor of the prison, which is the 19th floor of the prison. Young man, save me. I am a powerful spirit king. As long as you save me, I am willing to do something for you, and I will go through fire and water without hesitation. Get lost. How dare you, a mere spirit king, ask for help? Eat shit. Young man, I am a powerful fairy king. As long as you save me, I will give you a great fortune. Brother, please save me, I am willing to be your servant. Little handsome boy, or save me, I can meet all your requirements. Muddy water? Is it Brother Shui? For the sake of everyone being a player, give me a hand. Please. In this layer of the prison, various strong men are imprisoned. When they see Yang Tian coming in, they desperately ask for help, make various promises, and even sell themselves as servants. It is enough to show how miserable their prison life is, and there is no freedom at all. Those strong men are mostly NPC strong men, and there are few players. Because the higher end players are, the more they will avoid being red named. After all, it is too miserable to be killed with a red name. Not only will all the equipment explode, but they will also have to go to jail. After being forced to be red named, those high-end players will consciously stop PK, go to kill monsters first, and make contributions to wash away their red names first. Muddy water, don't act rashly, make mistakes again and again. Do you think the Holy King can do whatever he wants? Our warden and deputy warden are gods. We have notified the higher UPS, and the warden and his men will come down in person soon. If you retreat now, quickly make contributions to wash away the sins, you can still have a chance to survive. There are 10 prison generals on the 19th floor of the big prison, including 3 immortal kings and 7 spirit kings. At this moment, they summoned all the prison soldiers on that floor to gather together, and said to Yang Tian half threateningly and half fearingly. In their opinion, as long as the warden and deputy warden take action, Yang Tian will die. But if Yang Tian is not afraid of death and fights wildly, their lives will be in danger. Don't bother them to come down, I'll go up by myself. Yang Tian raised his eyebrows and said lightly. Hiss. The prison generals and soldiers took a breath of cold air, thinking that Yang Tian was crazy. Is this the rhythm of using the power of the Holy King to challenge 2 gods? At this time, the conversation between Yang Tian and the prison generals and soldiers attracted the attention of many criminals. They realized that Yang Tian was not an ordinary person, but a powerful Holy King. Excuse me, it turns out to be the Holy King, please save us, many criminals shouted excitedly. However, their shouts were like the wind blowing past Yang Tian's ears. From beginning to end, Yang Tian didn't even look at them. Summoning the undead, Black Knight. After a little chanting, Yang Tian waved his hand and summoned 100 Black Knights, rushing forward together. Death charge. Sweeping the army. Whirlwind slash. Gale stab. The Black Knights concentrated their fire fiercely, instantly killing all the prison soldiers on this floor, and even half of the prison officers. A large amount of loot exploded, including many cell keys. At the same time, blood balls popped out from the bodies of many prison officers and soldiers, rushing towards Yang Tian, forming a scarlet shield. The shield's strength is 1 trillion. We are not opponents, let's go. The remaining prison officers looked at each other, not daring to fight, turned around and shook off the Black Knights, and fled to the last floor of the prison. Manipulating the Black Knights to act as the vanguard, Yang Tian also chased after them. Hey! Sir, it's just a small effort, help us get out. Sir! In each cell, countless criminals shouted to Yang Tian, but Yang Tian ignored them and entered the last floor of the prison with the Black Knights. Muddy water, you are guilty of heinous crimes. I have long wanted to personally take action to capture you and put you in the dungeon. I didn't expect that you dared to break into the prison. Yang Tian and the army of Black Knights had just entered the last floor of the prison when they were blocked by countless powerful men. Two of them were burly and strong, serious and unsmiling, and faintly released a powerful divine power. Their names were high above their heads, Warden Xing and Deputy Warden Long Yan. It was Long Yan who scolded Yang Tian. Among the many powerful men, in addition to Xing and Long Yan, there were 10 Saint King prison generals, and there were even more immortal kings and spirit kings. It can be seen from this that the power of the prison is not trivial. If they lead the troops to go to war, they can easily destroy an empire. I am guilty of heinous crimes. Then are the Emperor Xinyu and his people not guilty? In the past, the Xianyuan Empire, the Holy Empire, and even many empires were destroyed by them. They are so powerful that countless people can fall to the ground with a wave of their hands. Their hands are stained with blood, which is much more serious than mine. Yang Tian sneered. The Great Prison directly represents the Chinese theater, and should treat everyone equally. However, let alone the Emperor Xinyu and other emperors, as long as they are official forces of the empire, they will not care about them at all, and they will be responsible for arresting and detaining those who are hostile to and wanted by the empire. To put it bluntly, although the Great Prison does not belong to the empire, its actions are also based on the empire's eyes, and they have no integrity. Then we don't care. Since the empire has been established, the world pattern has been determined. As emperors, they naturally have to exercise power and formulate rules and regulations, otherwise the world will be in chaos. The purpose of our existence is just to assist them and maintain the order of this world. Seeing said indifferently. So, you are nothing but dogs of the empire. Yang Tian sneered. How dare you? Xing and Long Yan were both furious. Am I wrong? If he were to become the emperor, would he be able to get away with it? Yang Tian said sarcastically. That will have to wait until you become the emperor, but in my opinion, you probably don't have this opportunity. You are too arrogant at such a young age. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 458. You are so arrogant at such a young age. Warden Xing was tall, wearing a black robe covering his whole body, with huge eyes, a pile of dry green hair on his head, and a dark face, looking extremely majestic, like the king of hell. He shouted and took the lead, shooting out a chain with an iron hook at the tip from his wide cuffs and hooking it towards Yang Tian. The iron hook shot very fast, unless it was predicted in advance, otherwise, it would be impossible to avoid it by just moving. It was also the first time that Yang Tian fought with Warden Xing. He didn't know the other party's profession and attributes, so naturally he had no way of knowing the other party's attack method, and it was impossible to predict. When the iron hook shot, Yang Tian could only give up the flash to pull away. Whoosh! The iron hook failed to hook Yang Tian, but hooked a Black Knight behind Yang Tian. At this moment, the Black Knight seemed to be controlled and could no longer take any action. After hitting the target, Xing stretched out his hand and pulled, and the chain instantly pulled back to his sleeves, and the Black Knight was also pulled in front of him. Xing suddenly made a move, pinched the Black Knight's neck with one hand, and the majestic divine power surged, instantly shattering the Black Knight. Kill! At the same time, Yang Tian waved his hand and controlled the Black Knight army under his command, and rushed towards all the opponents fearlessly. Looking for death. Long Yan snorted coldly, took out a long spear and took action himself, leading a group of prison generals to rush over and fight head-on with the Black Knight army. Long Yan was actually a dragon knight. With a wave of his hand, he summoned a dinosaur-like dragon beast mount. The dragon beast was about 2 meters tall and 3 meters long. If the tail was counted, it was about 5 to 6 meters long. Among all dragon beasts, it was considered a very small one. It has steel-like scales all over its body, and it looks extremely defensive, especially its back, which is covered with dense thorns like iron needles. Except for the smooth neck and shoulders, the thorns are arranged from head to tail, reflecting a cold luster, which is creepy. That is the iron blackthorn dragon. Yang Tian used the Eye of Truth to scan it, but he could not see any of its attributes. All he got were question marks, which means that it is also a divine beast. That Long Yan is actually a dragon knight with a divine dragon beast. Dragon power. Long Yan rode the iron blackthorn dragon, and a visible light flashed from his body, shocking the whole audience. At this time, the black aura on Yang Tian and all the Black Knights suddenly dimmed a lot. Affected by the dragon power, their damage was weakened by 30%. Roar. Long Yan rode the iron blackthorn dragon and rushed through the army of Black Knights, sweeping the long spear in his hand like cutting melons and vegetables, instantly killing most of the Black Knights. Even some Black Knights who took the initiative to attack the iron blackthorn dragon were killed by the thorns on its body. With Long Yan and the iron blackthorn dragon leading the charge, the group of prison generals were in no danger. They only needed to consume them remotely from behind. In a short moment, the Black Knight army was completely wiped out. And, with such little strength, I don't know where you got the courage to break into the prison. Looking at Yang Tian, who was alone and holding a blood-sucking staff like a bear commander, Long Yan sneered and couldn't understand where Yang Tian's confidence came from. Yang Tian's face remained unchanged. Of course, the Black Knight army was just the vanguard and cannon fodder. When they were sending themselves to death, Yang Tian had taken the opportunity to chant the extreme summons, and immediately shot out 10 soul fires, and 10 huge black summoning arrays emerged, and the dark army of undead emerged, making a sinister and terrifying laugh. This layer of the prison was rendered like the 9 nether hell. Yang Tian's 10 teams of undead armies, the number was exactly 11,000, all of which were at the level of royal beasts. However, the other forces relied on Xing and Long Yan's protection and did not care. The undead of the mere royal beast level, no matter how many there were, was nothing at all. Not good. Muddy water, how dare you! Xing and Long Yan's hearts tightened, and they shouted loudly. Necromancers are rare professions, and high-end necromancers are even rarer. Many prison officers and soldiers present have never seen them. With the protection of 2 gods, they naturally do not care. But Xing and Long Yan know the horror of necromancers. Do you think I dare? Yang Tian's face was full of sneers, and he suddenly snapped his fingers. Boom boom boom. Countless undead locked the target and exploded. The terrifying energy that was set off made this layer of the prison tremble constantly. With countless miserable screams, a black mushroom cloud rose above the battlefield. In the dense air, countless scarlet blood balls popped out and rushed towards Yang Tian, refreshing his shield strength minus 365 trillion. With such a powerful shield, Yang Tian was full of confidence and didn't know what fear was. When the smoke dissipated, hundreds of horrible corpses were lying on the ground, and countless equipment, coins, and materials also exploded. Except for Xing, Long Yan, and Iron Blackthorn Dragon, all the prison officers and soldiers on this floor fell. At this time, Xing and Long Yan were wrapped in lotus-like purple fighting spirit. They looked at the countless corpses at their feet, trembling all over, with twisted faces and extremely furious. Xing, Long Yan, and even Iron Blackthorn Dragon were all gods or divine beasts. Yang Tian had a gap in realm when facing them. What's more, he was weakened by 30% of the damage by Long Wei, and the damage caused to them by the corpse explosion was negligible. The Iron Blackthorn Dragon had extremely high defense in all aspects. It only suffered about 10 billion damage, and the blood bar on its head dropped a little. Xing and Long Yan, although they are not as good as the Iron Blackthorn Dragon in terms of defense, they both have purple fighting spirit, which reduces damage by 8 times. The damage they received was even lower, only about billions, and their lifespans were as high as 2 trillion. Muddy water, do you know what you did? You destroyed the foundation of the Great Prison, which is equivalent to destroying the future order of the Chinese continent. You deserve to die, even if you are caught in the dungeon and tortured to death 10,000 times, it is not enough to atone for your sins. Xing's face was full of anger, and every inch of muscle on his face was trembling wildly. The future order of the Chinese continent will be protected by me, you can end it yourself. Yang Tian did not give in. You are so presumptuous. Xing roared, and countless chains shot out from his sleeves on both sides, forming an iron net in the air, almost blocking all of Yang Tian's retreat routes. Yang Tian symbolically dodged a few times, and was hooked by a chain and could not move. This Xing did not know what profession he was. Compared with other gods or beasts, his combat power was not outstanding, and could even be ignored. But his control ability is extremely strong. Roar! The iron backthorn dragon roared furiously, and Long Yan rode it and rushed towards Yang Tian, attacking him without reservation. For several seconds, Xing's control reached the limit and he had to retract the chain. During this period, Long Yan and the iron backthorn dragon caused tons of damage to Yang Tian. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 459. Even though Long Yan is a god-level dragon knight, his basic combat power is only 3.4 billion at best. Yang Tian's basic combat power is not much different from his at the level of Saint King. However, Long Yan cultivated the purple full-level fighting spirit, and his combat power increased 8-fold. When using skills, one move can cause about 1 trillion damage to Yang Tian, which is very terrifying. The iron backthorn dragon he sat on, although also a divine beast, can only cause 100 billion damage to Yang Tian at most with one move. This is enough to prove that fighting spirit is still very powerful, especially the purple full-level fighting spirit. Long Yan and the iron backthorn dragon jointly attacked Yang Tian for several seconds, and the damage caused could reach 10 trillion. Unfortunately, the damage suffered by Yang Tian was all borne by the Scarlet Shield. At this time, the Scarlet Shield's life strength lost 10 trillion, and there were still more than 355 trillion left. And Yang Tian himself was unscathed and in high spirits. Xing and Long Yan both gasped. What kind of shield is this? Even with my divine power, it can't be crushed. Long Yan's eyes were full of disbelief. Now you know where my confidence comes from, right? God, you can't hurt me at all, Yang Tian sneered. With such a powerful shield, Yang Tian knew that he could not be killed by Xing and Long Yan at all, and it was only a matter of time before he killed them. You bluffing guy, I don't believe that your shield can last for a few seconds under my strong attack. Long Yan couldn't see through the strength of the Scarlet Shield, snorted coldly, and attacked Yang Tian again. Yang Tian was fearless, took Long Yan's attack and fought back with all his strength. Yang Tian was constantly hit by Long Yan and the iron backthorn dragon, and the strength of his shield slowly dropped. And the damage caused by his own attack on Long Yan was also negligible. Long Yan was not the Lich King, Yang Tian was at least not restrained in terms of attributes, but Long Yan had purple fighting spirit, so Yang Tian couldn't cause much damage to Long Yan. However, Yang Tian knew that Do Qi consumes mana in percentage, and it consumes 1% of mana every second. Although the recovery ability of gods and beasts is very strong, in non-combat state, they recover 10% of blood and mana per second. That is to say, in Taixu, no matter how seriously injured gods and beasts are, no matter how much mana they consume, they can recover to their peak in just 10 seconds. However, that is when gods and beasts are in non-combat state, they can recover themselves. In combat state, it is impossible. 100 seconds, as long as I can survive 100 seconds, they will definitely die, Yang Tian thought to himself. Compared with Long Yan, and even compared with Iron Blackthorn Dragon, Xing's combat power is extremely low. Despite this, he still joined Long Yan and Iron Blackthorn Dragon to attack Yang Tian's shield together. Half a minute later, they became more and more frightened, so much so that cold sweats ran down their cheeks. Damn ant! I see your life force is very weak, but the shield on your body is so powerful. Long Yan stared at Yang Tian, his heart trembling, and he was also very unwilling. A god-level dragon knight, he was helpless against a holy king. Xing and Long Yan looked at each other and both wanted to retreat. At this time, Long Yan and the other two attacked fiercely, and in half a minute, they cut off more than half of Yang Tian's shield strength, and the shield strength was only about 120 trillion. Yang Tian was secretly shocked. After the god was blessed with purple fighting spirit, the combat power was really terrifying. However, Xing and Long Yan could not see through the strength of Yang Tian's shield. This was an unknown fear, so they dared not fight. After a few seconds of silence, they finally turned around and retreated. Undercurrent. Don't think about escaping, Yang Tian roared, and with a thought, an undercurrent spread out for 100 yards under his feet, forming a dark lake. Under the strong pull of gravity generated by the undercurrent, the speed of Xing and the Iron Blackthorn Dragon both dropped by 30%. Long Yan rode the Iron Blackthorn Dragon, which was equivalent to his speed, and was also slowed down. Swoosh! Xing and Long Yan were shocked, and the form of Doqi changed from Doqi Lotus to a pair of huge Doqi light wings inserted behind their backs, and their speed increased by 80% in an instant. Even under the gravitational pull generated by the undercurrent, their speed was still much faster than before. Muddy water, you can't stop us with your strength. This time you win, but don't be complacent, one day, we will definitely kill you. Xing stared at Yang Tian with his huge eyes, left this sentence, and turned away. Long Yan followed him, but from time to time he looked back at the Iron Blackthorn Dragon that was trapped in the undercurrent and could not escape. Because of the Doqi wings, his speed increased dramatically and he could leave safely. But the Iron Blackthorn Dragon could not leave. That was his favorite battle pet mount, and also his most precious companion. Long Yan, hurry up, don't make a mistake, Xing's roar came from behind. Ah! Long Yan's face twitched, and he suddenly looked up at 90 degrees, bursting into a painful wail. Afterwards, he did not look back, and fled out of the prison with Xing, gradually disappearing. Roar! The Iron Blackthorn Dragon roared at the same time. In Taixu, the player's battle pet mount and the NPC's battle pet mount are set differently. The player will lose level if he dies in battle, and can be resurrected at any time, and the same is true for the player's battle pet. But NPCs are dead, and so are their battle pets. Long Yan, as the master of the Iron Blackthorn Dragon, can take the Iron Blackthorn Dragon back to the pet cage if the Iron Blackthorn Dragon is not in combat. Unfortunately, the Iron Blackthorn Dragon is currently in combat. Hey, Iron Blackthorn Dragon, your master is not kind. He actually left you alone and ran away. What loyalty do you have to that kind of master? Why don't you consider following me? Yang Tian smiled at the Iron Blackthorn Dragon. Players can use traps to catch battle pets, or hatch pet eggs to get battle pets, but there is another way to get battle pets, that is, the battle pet automatically pledges loyalty. The Iron Blackthorn Dragon is a divine beast. Although the possibility of it automatically pledging loyalty is extremely low, Yang Tian still can't help but want to give it a try. Shut up, human ant. You are just a holy king, how can I be loyal to you? What's more, I am a dragon and I only recognize one master in my life. The Iron Blackthorn Dragon spoke human language and growled at Yang Tian. Tisk tisk, you are so loyal, is that bastard Long Yan worthy of your loyalty? Yang Tian advised. If I can protect my master's escape, I will die without regrets even if I die in battle. Then I can only help you. Yang Tian shook his head and sighed. Although he admired the loyalty of the Iron Blackthorn Dragon, he could not be soft-hearted because of their different positions. Darkness is coming. Dark Fire Domain. Undead Summoning, Self-Destructing Spiders. Yang Tian waved his hands continuously, greatly weakening the dark resistance of the Iron Blackthorn Dragon, and then summoned 1,000 self-destructing spiders. 1,000 self-destructing spiders automatically locked onto the target and exploded automatically, making the Iron Blackthorn Dragon full of holes, bloody and horrible. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 460. 893040430230. As the huge damage emerged, about 890 billion, the health bar on the top of the Iron Blackthorn Dragon dropped by 1/3. As expected of the Iron Blackthorn Dragon, its life defense and even resistance are very high. Even if Yang Tian summoned 1,000 self-destructing spiders, 1,000 times the magic damage, it still couldn't kill it instantly. However, its fate is doomed. The damage deepened. Yang Tian snapped his fingers, and as the fixed damage 10 times higher than the previous one emerged, the Iron Blackthorn Dragon screamed, the wounds all over his body burst, and he died. Countless equipment, coins, and materials fell to the ground, piling up like a hill. System, congratulations on completing the first kill challenge of the mythical beast Iron Blackthorn Dragon, and you will get an additional 2 billion experience points and 10 skill points. The system will soon launch a broadcast announcement in the Chinese theater. Do you want to hide your ID? At the same time, a system prompt sounded in Yang Tian's ears. Of course, he chose to be anonymous again. The broadcast was immediately pushed. Compared with the last time in Fantasy World, this time the broadcast was undoubtedly narrowed down. The broadcast was only played in the national server, which surprised many players in the national server. Huh? It's the first kill of the beast again, and this time it's a strong man in our Chinese war zone. God's left hand? Could it be that the person who first killed the Lich King in Fantasy World before was also God's left hand? Impossible, God's left hand attaches great importance to honor. If he is really the first to kill the beast, he can't choose to be anonymous. In my opinion, the first to kill the beast is one of the 3 anonymous strongmen in the top 3 of our national server rankings. Of course, the 3 of them should be in the same group, besieging the beast together, and one of them got the first kill of the beast. Well, that makes sense. This statement is much more reliable. Hey, are you too optimistic? Although it is broadcast from the Chinese theater, it is not necessarily a player from the Chinese theater. You should know that strong people above level 180 can go to the World Ocean, and the World Ocean is connected to various theaters. Maybe it is a strong person from other theaters who came to kill the beast in our Chinese theater. Well, we can't rule out this possibility. Many players talked about it and wanted to post to overseas players on the official forum to show off, but they all held back. After all, if it is true that overseas strong people came to the Chinese theater and snatched the first kill of the beast, it would be too embarrassing to publicize it. On the other side, the Water Alliance. Compared to outsiders, the people in the Water Alliance already knew that Yang Tian had returned, and they were suspicious at the moment. For a time, the Water Alliance channel was boiling, and everyone was speculating and asking whether it was the first kill of the beast by Brother Shui. Especially, Nan Bassian, Niu Meng, GBA and others have joined the Water Alliance, and Nan Bassian is messing around again. Brothers, I can tell you that the first person to kill the Iron Blackthorn Dragon was Brother Shui. Nan Bassian opened the Alliance language, mysterious and nonchalant. Before the Water Alliance fell into decline, it was the first force in the national server, with many members under its command, up to 40,000. At its peak, Jian Wang's Aoshi had no time to quit, and the members under the Water Alliance could reach 50,000. If everyone said a word, they could easily flood the Alliance channel. For the convenience of management, Yang Tian set it up, allowing only captains and above to open the alliance voice, and the rest could only chat by typing. Today, the Water Alliance has become a small force on the 18th line, and most of the people have quit, leaving only 2 or 3,000 people, and most of them are masters signed by Yang Tian Huangmao in the early days. With fewer people, the Water Alliance channel has become deserted. At that time, Yang Tian was not there, Huangmao was in prison, and Xian Ji, as an agent, once again opened the voice permission for all members. Even so, under the previous rules, after 2 years, it was difficult for everyone to change their habits. Those who were not captains basically rarely spoke. But Nan Bassian was ignorant and didn't know about it. He immediately started speaking as an absolute newcomer, which immediately made many old people in the alliance dissatisfied. Go away, newcomers should not speak in voice, so as not to break the rules. Besides, what can you, a newcomer, know? Immediately, several old people scolded him. Yes, I am a newcomer. But I was brought in by Brother Shui himself. If you don't believe me, you can ask Miss Blue Cat. Nan Bassian's words shocked many old people in the Water Alliance. They felt that he was a little unfathomable. After all, Brother Shui was such a person that he could personally pull people in. It can be seen that Nan Bassian is not simple. Do you know? About an hour ago, Brother Shui and I met in the fantasy world. Brother Shui, in the realm of Saint King, angrily killed many Japanese strongmen. One of them is a woman named Qianban Shuiying, who is also a 6-winged angel, and there are Saint King strongmen such as Zhao Shi. It is a huge Japanese force with more than 1,000 members, among which there are more than 100 strongmen above the Spirit King. But do you know? None of them can break Brother Shui's defense. And Brother Shui killed them all in a few seconds. Nan Bassian boasted wildly and exaggerated, making many old men in the Water Alliance intoxicated. Everyone couldn't help but be in the scene, imagining that they were Brother Shui, acting as a gun and beating many Japanese strongmen. At that time, I also made a contribution, and Brother Shui directly gave me a spiritual essence to help me rush to the Spirit King. Nan Bassian was very proud. Hearing this, many elders of the Water Alliance took a deep breath, and felt that Nan Bassian was a very extraordinary person, and his relationship with Brother Shui was extraordinary. Otherwise, how could the spiritual essence be given away so easily, as it was so precious? Then, Niu Meng, GBA and I followed Brother Shui to continue the action and encountered the Lich King. You can't believe it, but I can't believe it either, because Brother Shui killed the Lich King in one move. Nan Bassian boasted more and more vigorously. On the side, Niu Meng, GBA, and others were all frowning, and frantically pulled him. Hey, don't go too far, when did we see Brother Shui fight the Lich King? And he killed the Lich King in one move, you are talking nonsense. Nan Bassian was just boasting excitedly, and was interrupted, and immediately frowned. He turned off the Alliance voice chat and said to Niu Meng, GBA, and others nonchalantly, what are you afraid of? No one knows anyway. Besides, we were in the gloomy cemetery with Brother Shui at that time, which is the lair of dark monsters. Whether Brother Shui killed the Lich King or not, you and I know it very well. It is indeed possible, but we haven't seen it with our own eyes after all, and the fantasy world is so big that many things are uncertain, Niu Meng said. Heh, what do you know? It is precisely because it is uncertain that I should say this. Now Brother Shui has been silent for 3 months and lacks popularity. We should help him build momentum and let him return to the peak as soon as possible.